Today is Pokemon Day and Pikachu's birthday. Welcome, Pikachu, to joining the ranks of us 30-something-year-olds. Our backs hurt for no reason, and sometimes we complain about the slang the kids say these days. In honor of Pokemon Day and Pikachu's 30th birthday, I decided to create a different type of video for the channel. When Surging Sparks released a year ago, me and my favorite person in the whole wide world put together a Pikachu EX deck for them to play at locals. This deck was good for my amateurish deck building ability, but also I've been playing for over a year, for the last year, and I've learned a lot about deck building as a whole. And so, a side quest has been given to me this past weekend to update a Pikachu EX deck for post-rotation. Before we begin, we gotta look at what we were originally working with. Hi everyone, happy Pokemon Day! Hopefully this video is coming out on Pokemon Day. So today we're doing something a little different. It's going to be the start of kind of a new thing going forward on the channel where I'm a little bit more open about deck building and all of my Pokemon experience. So to start with, I figure why not start with Big Pika himself. 2 days ago, my favorite person in the whole wide world asked me to update their Pikachu deck. This deck hasn't been played for at least a couple of formats now, so it's severely out of date and probably was a little bit more chunky than I would have made a deck now. So, we're gonna go through the deck today, or right now, kind of get the lay of land, and then we're gonna go from there. Hopefully this week I'll go through it all, kind of build out this deck, really get it pumping, and then maybe we'll take it from there. But, alright, so, first things first. Big Pika himself. We've got 3 copies of him. The whole point of him is his Resolute Heart ability. If he's at full health and he gets knocked out, he actually lives with 1 HP. Topaz Boat. A grass, a lightning, and a steel. Does 300 damage. You have to discard 3 energies from Pikachu in order to use it. So, we have 3 copies of Pikachu because, he's Big Pika. He's the man. To support Big Pika, we got his friend, Teal Mask Ogerpon. Big fan of Teal Mask Ogerpon. As a Raging Bolt player with his Teal Dance ability, you can attach 1 energy, get to draw a card. Myriad Leaf Shower for 3 grass, does 30 more damage. For each energy attached to most active Pokemon, 30 more damage. So there's 3 copies of them. To help attach some energies, we have the Magneton line. So we have this Magnemite, this Magnemite. This is the Surging Sparks one. This is from Obsidian Flames. And then 2 of the Surging Sparks Magnetons. I know it's a little hard to see, but with the Overvolt Discharge ability, once during your turn, you may attach up to 3 basic energy cards from your discard pile to your Lightning Pokemon in any way you like. If you use this ability, this Pokemon is knocked out. So you're giving your opponent a prize card, but you're getting 3 energies out of it at the same time. To help with the draw, we have my favorite draw engine, the Knocked Owl engine. So 2 Hoots, we've got the Temporal Forces one, and the Surging Sparks one, which this weekend I actually was at a cup, and I actually used his attack for a change. And then Knocked Owl, if you have a Terra in play, and you evolve, you may take 2 trainers from your deck, put it into your hand. So, really great draw combo piece right here. For the last set of support Pokemon, there is 1 copy of Fan Rotom in the deck. 1 copy of Squawkabilly. With Squawk and Seize, you're able to discard your hand, draw 6 cards. So get energies into the discard pile right away. 1 copy of Latios for free switching. And 1 copy of Japanese Fezandipity, because we don't have enough Fezzes for all the decks that we built. So that's it for the Pokemon. For the trainers, let's start with our supporter line. If I can find the end of it. There we go. Alright, for our supporters. 4 copies of Crispin. Obviously, allows you to get 2 different types of energies, put one in your hand, and then 1 attached to your Pokemon. Really great for this Pikachu that needs 3 different types of energies, but also allows you to get Ogerpons. We have 2 Boss's Orders, the all-important Boss's Orders. 1 Black Belt's Training for higher damage. 1 Arvin for item and tool search. 1 copy of Penny to be a nuisance and to pick up Pikachu and re-heal it. And then 1 copy of Briar to take an extra prize card with Pikachu at the end of the game. Or Teal Mask Ogerpon. You can do it with Teal Mask Ogerpon too. For the items, we have 4 Nest Balls and 4 Ultra Balls. 1 Earthen Vessel for Energy Search. 3 copies of Energy Switch to switch our energies around. 2 copies of Night Stretcher to get energies back from the discard pile. A copy of Palpad. For our A-Spec and our only tool, a copy of Sparkling Crystal. And for our stadiums, we have 3 different types of stadiums in this deck. Not really sure why. Well, I can see why. Gravity Mountain. This is to bring the stage 2s down for easier kill potential. 1 copy of Jamming Tower to get rid of tools. And 1 copy of Area 0 to extend our bench. And finally, the energies. 3 Lightning. 3 Metal. And 7 Grass. I had to do the math there. 7 Grass energies. Okay. So, ignore the mess in the corner there. So, there's a lot that has to go into this deck. I remember that if everything didn't go right in the beginning, it was kind of clunky to get going, and it was really hard to draw. So, draw potential is really big here. Also, the energy requirement is also extremely big here. Because of Pikachu's specific energy requirements, it's a little hard to get these all in one go going. You can, though. And I have a couple different options to try here. We can try Joltik and lean more into that Joltik Pikachu box. We can do more Crispin and Sparkling Crystal with the Teal Mask Ogerpon and maybe lean more into that again. We can also do the Magnetons, or we can try Dynamotor. So there's a couple different options here with Pikachu and getting it up and running. The Sparkling Crystal definitely helps synergizes with Pikachu, and then having this energy switch with Ogerpon also very much helps. It kind of leans into that Terra Box style deck that was actually starting to come up when we started building this deck. Terra Box had just come into the meta. So, yeah, that probably tells you how long ago this deck was, like, kind of looked at. The supporter line probably needs to be looked at and refined a little bit more. And maybe even the trainer, requirements. I have been told that, my partner would like this deck to be, post-rotation. As rotation's probably is going to be happening at the time of recording in, a month or so? So, there's not going to be a whole lot of time to play this deck, and they don't play as often as I do. So, post-rotation is best. However, I do want to try to take what we can use now, and then kind of give some idea for post-rotation in the future. So, this is probably going to be a multi-part series, in terms of at least 1, maybe 2 episodes. I'm actually thinking probably more 2, 1 focused on this, 1 focused more on your post-rotation. So, so I know there's a couple ways to go about this, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start looking at what Pokemon put together, because Pokemon put together a deck on TCG, and then we'll start breaking down this deck. So, stick with us and enjoy, I guess. Okay, so there were a couple holes in the deck that I need to resolve. First things first, one of our biggest issues during play was draw power. Although Two Mask Ogropon was great for as a draw engine, it wouldn't necessarily get us our key pieces that we needed in a tight turn, where we might have already used a lot of our resources. The Noctowl engine was really good at cherry picking cards that we needed out of our deck, but again, you need to have already had some resources to help get you there. The second issue is sometimes powering up Pikachu is the issue. Crispin was our main source of powering up Pikachu, with Teal Dance and an Energy Switch combo as backup. It was extremely hard to get off the ground right away, or again, in a very, very tight turn, where at the very end of the game where you've used most of your resources. Surging Sparks Magnemite was a great supporting Pokemon for powering up Pikachu, but at the cost of giving up one prize card to your opponent. Not giving up prize cards was kind of the benefit of Pikachu, and actively giving them up was hurting our strategy, as well as that strategy was going completely off the board as soon as we were down to only one prize. My first plan was to go searching for other decks that have maybe been created on this archetype to see what other people were thinking. Usually I'd go to some place like TCG Limitless, but Pikachu has never really been its own deck. Pikachu's Resolute Heart ability makes it the perfect supporting Pokemon for any deck, by essentially giving it a second life as if it was to be one-hit KO'd. Pikachu came close to being a primary attacker in Lost Box decks a year ago, but the deck was on its way out of rotation, and the box-style nature meant Pikachu is not the guy in the deck. Pikachu has since become the supporting Pokemon in a couple other decks. Pikachu enabled Area Zero and Miraidon decks very early on this rotation, and was one of 2 attackers in Joltik box decks, and also fulfilled both roles in Terra box decks. I was the bridesmaid, but never the bride. Well, today we're making him the bride, damn it! My deck research had to go a different route. I remember that Pokemon Trading Card Game Online puts out pre-made decks for every new expansion set featuring a certain Pokemon. Hey, guess who not only got one, but have actually 2 featured decks? The birthday boy himself, Pikachu. One of the decks was released around Searching Sparks, and unfortunately it is no longer in rotation. However, the other deck was built recently for this current format. Of course, the deck has 3 versions of the boy himself, serving as the main attacker, 2 copies of Miraidon EX for its Tandem Unit ability. The ability allows us to grab 2 Lightning Pokemon and place it on our bench. Hopefully by setting up Pikachu in the early game, and our other supporting Lightning Pokemon, a 2-2 line of Iono's Kilowattrel. The Iono's Kilowattrel has a flashing draw ability, allowing us to discard a Lightning Energy off of it in order to draw until we have 6 in hand. This gives us both the energy discard option that we might need, as well as it fixes our draw engine issue. But how do we get the energy on both Pikachu, who discards energy off itself after every attack, as well as Kilowattrel for draw, so that it can keep dumping it back into the discard pile? Well, Pokemon Company thought of a solution that I didn't think of. It put a 3-1-3 line of Blaziken EX in the deck. Blaziken EX's Seething Spirits ability allows for us to put 1 energy from our discard pile onto one of our Pokemon. Blaziken allows us to set up Kilowattrel's draw ability, while also keeping Pikachu refreshed with a constant stream of energy throughout the game. Or in a pinch, it could accelerate energies to itself, or Miraidon to take out a KO. Quickly moving through the trainers that the deck contains. It contains 4 Arven for cherry picking items throughout the deck, 2 Bosses for Gus, 2 Iono for Description, a Crispin for energy acceleration, the spice of the deck, and my personal favorite, Bianca's Devotion, allowing you to give Pikachu a 3rd life by healing itself to full, or giving Blaziken or Miraidon full healing that will take it out of bench swiping range. 4 Buddy Buddy Puffin, 2 Nest Ball, 4 Ultra Ball, make the round out of Pokemon Search, 3 rare candies for the Blazikens, 2 Earthen Vessels for energy draw and discard, 1 Super Rod for recovery, 1 Technical Machine Evo for allowing early game evolutions on Torchic and Wattrels, 1 Rescue Board for easy retreat, 2 Power Glass. This tool allowed allowed for easy energy renewal onto Pikachu by giving it an energy back at the end of your turn. Basically, making it so you only need to keep 2 Blazikens on your bench at any given time. 2 Gravity Mountains for lowering Stage 2 Pokemon health to a manageable level for one-hit KOs. And finally, the ace spec in the deck, Secret Box, which allowed for big combo setup turns. For energy in the deck, we have 3 Lightning, 3 Grass, 3 Metal, and finally, another Spice, 2 Fire, that enable Blaziken to attack, as well as adding an extra energy that you could put on Pikachu to discard. The pre-constructed deck was actually pretty good. I had to admit that all my crazy ideas of putting Noctowl in the deck were quickly dismissed once I started to understand how this deck really played. The deck primarily leans on the fact that Pikachu is going to survive 2 hits from your opponent and tries to support refueling Pikachu as fast as possible for a second attack. Exactly what we'd been going for with our initial build. It wasn't without its flaws. Any good player will probably notice that the deck relies on other EX Pokemon to support Pikachu, mainly Blaziken EX, so you can hit the high numbers. If you can hit the high numbers of 320 HP, you can disrupt any momentum that Pikachu causes by having a second life. I also found on more than one occasion for Miraidon to be a little useless. I was never really happy to start with him unless I didn't have a Buddy Buddy Poffin or a Nest Ball in my opening hand. He had just become a hood ornament more often than not after Pikachu was set up. If I did need to hit the bigger numbers, it was mostly a grass type, and I just used Blaziken to hit for weakness. Alright, I found I want to go second with this deck. Oh, okay. It's a Mega Venusaur. That's not bad. Could be worse. Okay. Let's see here. Let's tandem unit. Wattrel and a Pikachu. Let's Buddy Buddy for 2 Torchic. Arvin for TM Evo. Guess another Ultra Ball? Yeah. Then TM Evo to Miraidon. Earthen Vessel. One of these Ultra Balls away, I guess. For Lightning. And Metal? Yeah. Attach the Lightning there. And I'm gonna TM Evo the Wattrel and the Torchic, but one of the Torchics I have in my hand. And the kill Wattrel we have. Let's put this down. Crispin, a lightning, and a grass. The grass is gonna go to hand. Lightning is gonna go kill Wattrel. Gonna Ultra Ball these two away. To get a Blaziken. Flashing Draw. Candy to Torchic. Stick a fire. And then I think I'm just gonna... Yeah, I will retreat into Pikachu. And end my turn there. Which will give me a lightning onto Pikachu. So I'm finding with this deck is it's important to, in the early game, to get the glass onto Pikachu, the power glass onto Pikachu to power it up. And then using Flashing Draw to keep refilling your hand, and using Blaziken to kind of refill all of your different Pokemon. So for this instance, I'm going to actually Seething Spirits on to kill a Wattrel. I'm going to put this grass onto Pikachu. And then, kind of wanted Secret Box actually. We'll Arven for an Ultra Ball here. And the rescue board, because I don't need it. And then we'll Ultra Ball the Wattrel, the rescue board away. For Blaziken. Upgrade. Flashing Draw. And then I can Secret Box the Miraidon, this fighting, and this fire away for a Nest Ball. I can't use this now, but I'll take it. And Power Glass and a Gravity Mountain. Nest Ball is going to get me another Torchic that I can get ready for. And I'm actually going to make myself in an even better position and dump this lightning out of Pikachu. And then do I want to just... I won't Gravity Mountain here. I'm just going to attack. So that kills the Ogerpon and kills 3 energies. And then I get a 4th one back. So like all these Pokemon really synergize really well to each other to the point that I didn't even think about before. The Blaziken gets the energies onto your Pokemon. The Kill Wattrel is constantly refilling your hand. So you keep one on the board, you're always doing really, really well. I found ideally I want at least 3 Blazikens on the bench, which leaves that like last spot a little crazy. I love that Miraidon's in this deck, but obviously Miraidon is rotating, which kind of makes this a little bit sketchy. So I ended up having to replace it with some Terrors, but the Miraidon allows you to get the Wattrels and the Pikachus out on the bench to play with. It all very much synergizes with each other in a very unique way. So I can do something kind of actually crazy here. If I want to. I can go into Blaziken and use Blaziken for an attacker. I think actually that might be something I do here. Why not get rid of that Force of Vitality? I'm going to... boss up the Mega Venusaur. I'm gonna have the game freeze on me! But this is your response for grass decks, essentially, is that you're going to Seething Spirits onto your Blaziken and swap into your Blaziken to take the kill there. I'll just put the grass in there, that's fine. And then I will get rid of one of my grass energies to bring in Blaziken to do 400 damage to this Mega Venusaur and take 3 prizes. And I am a little surprised that I don't see this deck played more often. Again, it's just like this whole synergy that just keeps like kind of molding and like protecting yourself. You may not be able to hit the high numbers that the grass like Mega Venusaur requires, but you'll be able to do it with Blaziken and Pikachu together, working together. Oh, I hate to disappoint this person, but I'm gonna be able to get out of this real quick. Well, hopefully. Actually, now I'm looking at it. They might be able to kill Blaziken here. Which technically is fine. I just need to go into Pikachu, actually. Oh, no. Okay. I actually can just kill here. I don't even need to toy with them. But I can get out of this situation by just moving to kill a Wattrel. Oh, I can't do that. Okay, cool. So we'll retreat into Pikachu. Seething Spirits. A grass onto Pikachu. And then just kill the Ogerpon. Again, it's just this like crazy little synergy that's going on with this deck that I just find so wild. The Pokemon actually just created this deck and then just gave it to us. So have I successfully fulfilled my quest? No, not yet. On the contrary, I was actually having so much fun playing this deck that I got distracted from my main quest of focusing on post-rotation. Whoops. I was thinking this deck could provide a really great framework for a post-rotation Pikachu deck. I would be lying if I didn't say I was using a copy of this list to build my post-rotation version, and that I hope to show it off in another episode. Until then, I really just wanted to put a quick spotlight on this deck that you can play right now at your Pokemon Day events that I was actually having a ton of fun playing. So where do we go with this deck from here? A lot of key pieces are rotating out of the deck, which I will now need to address. But there are some new cards being added to the game that might help with Pikachu's weaknesses, mainly the inability to one-shot most Megas in the format. Will this deck look totally different from after another week of deck building and research? Or will the resolute heart of this deck continue to beat strongly? Only time will tell next time when I show off my tinkering with my post-rotation testing. Happy Pokemon Day, everyone, and I hope you have fun celebrating and stay safe. And of course, have a good night. Bye. If you liked this video, feel free to subscribe. And if you actually really liked it, feel free to hit the like button. Either one is appreciated. Both is even better. I have a video, the last video in a box, somewhere on screen. Feel free to hit that if you'd like more video content. And if you'd like to see the whole series, it's on the box below. Enjoy. And feel free to come back to the den anytime. See ya.